All right, you guys, this is a really sensitive topic for me. And so much so, every time I'm about to film, I usually do some breath work before I film because it just centers me. But I sat here thinking, do I want to talk about this? Here's the thing. As much as I feel some reluctancy to talk about this, I'm going to because I know that there's someone out there who needs to hear this. There's someone out there who's gone through something similar, and anytime I doubt myself, anytime the part of me comes in that says you maybe don't want to, what are people gonna think, what are they gonna say, I remind myself this isn't about me. The reason I show up and I do this work is because I know for certain that somebody is going to hear it and it's going to help them in some way. Because when I was on the other side, I needed to hear things like this. So here we go. Falling for somebody after being in a marriage. Falling out of my marriage and being caught. Falling out of my marriage and falling into someone else. It is sensitive for a couple reasons. One, I was absolutely not ready for this to happen. Two, I questioned why is this happening? Why couldn't I feel this for my partner? And three, it's sensitive because the way it all ended. It is a really tough conversation for me. And as usual, I created notes because this is what I do. I do this, and if it's your first time watching one of my videos, if you go back, you're gonna see that I always have notes here. Because it helps guide the conversation, and I want to make sure that I don't forget any points when it comes to sharing things that are emotional or that I think that you need to hear. So I spoke about this person in previous videos before. When I met this person, it was so synchronistic. There was so many things that happened that almost felt like cosmic, like outside of this world. In the beginning though, I really felt like I met a cool friend. We were so in sync. We had so many commonalities. We spoke about life. We spoke about the trees. We spoke about the connection to the earth. We spoke about philosophy. We spoke about the hard stuff. We spoke about my OCD and the things that I had gone through. We spoke about the traumas that he had gone through. There was a beautiful energy share that was happening. And it just filled me with so much light. I really think it was like a gift from the universe because when I had been going through my separation, this person caught me and fed me so much worthiness that I don't think that I would have been able to feel as I had been moving through my separation. I didn't see it then the way I do now. How the universe really guides us in ways that we can't understand, and the beautiful gifts that we receive when we are moving through hardship. So it really was something that I look at now as really special. So there was all these commonalities. We connected about all kinds of things. It was this beautiful connection I'd never experienced before. And it was really challenging because through this connection, feelings developed. Like a river flowed into each other. I wasn't aware that the feelings were there until they were there. And I think I wasn't aware because I didn't know it was possible to feel for someone else because I had always had eyes for my partner. I didn't think that it was possible to feel for someone, especially when my relationship ending was so fresh. And this person didn't think it was possible to feel for anybody as well. We kind of just connected in that way. In addition to that, there was music that we would share, there was poetry writing, there was walks in the forest and just deep conversations or walks in silence. It was kind of like a movie. I think the reason I speak about it with so much passion is because the biggest takeaway from this for me was that I had fallen for somebody as the healed version of me. That means coming out of a space of being unwell and being in relationship from a space previously where I needed so much, where I was vulnerable, where I didn't know myself. Falling for somebody when you know yourself, when you are healed, air quotes, because as you know, we've spoken about this before, you are constantly in a state of growth, constantly in a state of healing. It never stops, the journey keeps going. It was just different to finally feel something where I didn't need anything, that I could show up as the full version of me, and in return, I received this unconditional love because this person fed into me and held space for me to show up as all parts. And that is a rarity, to connect to someone where you are both meeting in a space of unconditional. I want to hear all about you. You want to hear about all of me. It was beautiful. There is another side to this, and that's why I'm showing up and sharing this today. Because as beautiful as this connection was, you need to mourn the relationship you were in. This is what I'm sharing. If you are coming out of a long-term relationship, if you are coming out of a short-term relationship, it doesn't matter. There is grief, there is a mourning, and there is a rediscovering of you that needs to take place. So even though I had this beautiful connection with this other person, and they totally transformed my life in ways that I will never be able to forget, I am so grateful for the love that I received from this person. I always knew in an innate level that our journey would end, because I knew that I had to take care of me, that I had to heal. And I also knew that parts of me were showing up with this person that probably weren't the healthiest. Red flag. I thought I could save this person. Our connection, yes, was built on so many commonalities, but also this person was moving through trauma. They were moving through rediscovery of self. They were moving through trying to connect to their truth. They were moving through a history that was hard for others to understand. They were moving through, well, I'm just gonna say it. They were moving through cultural and religious dynamics and trying to find themselves in a space that felt true to them outside of the life that they were born into. And that was like way beyond me. And the type of person I am, if you've watched some of my previous videos, is like, I want you to stand in your truth. I want you to heal. I want you to be all of you. So when I knew that this person was going through this, before the feelings were even there, I was like, I want this person to live their best life. I'm going to show them that they can live their best life. And then I landed into that role of savior. And that is an old pattern of mine, to think that I could save people when really, you guys, everybody has to save themselves. We cannot save anybody. They have to save themselves. We cannot enable people. We are not meant to manipulate people's journey. They have to come to their truth on their own. And though, yes, we are here to guide each other along the journey, ultimately, as much as your journey is yours, their journey is theirs. And what I realized is we were both meeting each other in a place of needing to support one another and learn from one another. So at the end of the day, as beautiful as it was to fall for someone as the healed version of me, and if you are experiencing that for the first time, you are going to see how magical it is. It was also like, I need to be honest, and I need to mourn what I have just ended, which was a 17-year relationship. That was really hard to accept, because when you have experienced a new type of connection, a new love, lumerance, whatever you want to consider your connection and your feelings to this new person as the healed version of you, you don't want to let it go. I didn't want to let it go. So there was mourning that came with it. I didn't want to let it go because, am I going to feel this again? I have never felt what it felt like to feel for someone and someone to feel for me as the healed, recovered version of self. Even though there was all this beauty, there was a lot of sadness. There was me going home and crying, wondering why I couldn't feel this for my partner before. How my partner has been with me throughout the entire journey of my mental health, and he doesn't get the best of me. How I could show up with somebody else and be an entirely different person than who I was with my partner. There was a lot of grief and a lot of layers and a lot of confusion that I was trying to work through and trying to understand how it would be possible. Denial, not wanting to feel these feelings, and all at the same time not being able to sleep, not being able to eat, wanting to be excited, not wanting to be, being excited to go and have these conversations with this new person in my life because of the aliveness that I felt. It was a challenging time. In the end, what I took away from it was that knowing that I had to honor the relationship I had by taking the time to grieve it, to rediscover myself, and to mourn it properly, which means that I had to trust in the letting go of this person. No matter what, and I felt like I knew this person my entire life, you guys. So if you've gone through this, what I want to encourage you is that I know when you think you know, and you just want to you don't want to let it go because of how it feels and all these feelings and this euphoria. But if it is meant to be, it will be. And you need to trust that. You need to trust on an innate level that if it is meant to be, it will be. There is no such thing as the right person and the wrong time. And that's what I kept thinking. This is the right person, the wrong time, because there were other circumstances in this scenario that I'm not speaking about, but there were other circumstances where I was like, oh my gosh, this is the right person, but wrong time. If it is the right person, I learned this from Matthew Hussey. If you have never heard of him, you need to look him up. He is like the pro on relationships. He says, and I preface, there is no such thing as the right person, wrong time. If they are the right person, they are going to be the right person in this moment and in this time. That's just it. There's no in between. We might think and create a story and a narrative, but if they are for you, they will just be for you. So you need to trust and let go, and what is meant to be will be, and your life brings to you people that are meant to be in your life. May that be for a purpose, a lesson, a reason, or a life partner. All I knew in complete honesty was that I needed to take care of myself and grieve and mourn my marriage properly. So, here are the reasons. As usual, I have my notebook for you. Here are the reasons that even if you fall for somebody immediately after you've been in a relationship, why you should hold off and then think about the relationship. Number one reason for you, right off the top of my head, is that if this person really matters to you, if this connection is everything you're feeling, you want to protect it and you want to make sure that it is the healthiest relationship you could have and you could foster. So it'll be important for you to take a step back and take care of yourself and connect to you and properly mourn and grieve so that this relationship with this new person who's come into your life can thrive in a healthy manner in the way that you want it to. That's number one. The second reason, if you are still crying over your life, your previous partner, you should not be getting into another relationship. You cannot commit all of yourself in the ways that you want to or the next person in your life deserves because you are still grieving. You are still grieving your old life. If you are thinking about what your past partner is doing, if you are still entrenched in how they're affecting your life, if you are crying even though you don't have feelings for your partner anymore, you are not over it. You are not over it, and you want to be sure that you can give the next person the best version of you. You also need to think about creating a new life, a solo life. What is it like to date yourself? What is it like to establish a life where it's what you like? You don't have to think about your partner anymore. Are you eating food that she normally wouldn't enjoy eating? And now you're having this in the household more. Are you watching shows that you never would watch before? Are you listening to music that you would never listen to before? Are you going to different places? Are you traveling because your partner didn't like traveling? What does life look like to date yourself, to be with yourself, to feed into you? You don't know what that is like if you've been in a relationship for a long time or even a short period of time, because you have been combining two lives. So to be empowered so that in your next relationship, you could know you on such a deep level, because who you were when you were in a relationship is not going to be who you are when you are out of that relationship, and the growth that you have had since that relationship occurred. You also don't want to rebound. You have to make sure that whoever you have fallen for, it's not a rebound. And note to self that if you are going through a relationship ending, sometimes you don't realize that the next person was a rebound. So you have to be careful. You have to know that you are emotionally stable and ready to be open and accepting new love into your life. We are craving connection when we have ended a relationship. We are craving a new person to see us and to hear us and to know us. You have to be careful that it's not a rebound. You want to avoid old patterns. I just shared with you that I was here thinking I could save this person. That tells me that there's still so much work for me to do on myself if an old pattern showed up so easily. Even though the feelings for this person were so intense, my patterns still managed to sneak their way through. That would have ruined the relationship right off the bat, because I would have spent the entire relationship trying to save this person when it wasn't my job to do in the first place. You need to reclaim the spaces that are tainted by memories of your past partner and the life that you shared. Maybe, I know that this is with me, you don't want to go somewhere because it's going to cause you to feel sad. It's going to cause anxiety. Maybe you want to go back to those places and reclaim those parts of you. So essentially, you need to learn to date yourself again. You need to learn what you like and what you don't like without thinking of a different person. You need to make sure that your patterns aren't showing up. You don't want to rebound. And if you truly, truly have feelings for this other person that's come into your life, you want to ensure that it is healthy. You want to ensure that you are coming from a space where you feel like there's nothing that you're holding on to. You're not thinking about your old partner. You're not thinking about the life you had. You are ready to create a new life. You feel fresh and you feel invigorated. So here I am sharing with you guys that if it is the right person, no matter what, there's not a right person in wrong time. They will just be the right person. The most important thing I want you to take away is, yes, the beauty of falling for somebody when you are a healed version of you, and how fresh and how exciting it feels. Because I felt it. So if you feel it, it is real. But I promise you, you will feel it again. You will 100% feel it again. Take the time you need. Take the time you need to connect back to you, to feed into your passions, to feed into your joy, to feed into yourself, to fall in love with yourself. In a previous video, I mentioned that when I fell out of my marriage, I thought I fell in love. And I was speaking about this person, right? But really, the lesson was falling in love with me, feeding into me, and knowing that everything that I was looking for outside of me has been in here all along. You deserve to feel love, and you will. You absolutely will. But first, take the time to date yourself. Take the time to be empowered, to think about you and what you need. Be truthful, be authentic, be real. Connect to this part inside of you that lives so deeply that maybe you haven't had the opportunity to connect to all these years because you've been in a relationship. And I promise you, as you heal, as you grieve, and as you mourn, you are going to become a person that you didn't even know existed. And then you will attract the right person into your life in a space where you are aligned and feel healthy. I think so much of society and the things around us teach us that we should be in a relationship all the time and a partnership and love, and we rush into the next person and the next person and the next person. Or maybe if you just got out of a relationship, you're like, I don't ever want to be with anybody ever again. But then ultimately it creeps in, that loneliness, because we are wired for connection. We are wired for connection. But I want you to know that you can connect with you. You can build relationships and friendships that provide you that deep sense of belonging and that deep sense of connection. Give yourself time. Do not jump into another relationship right away. Give yourself time to date yourself and know yourself. You deserve this time for you.